right, everybody, we are back with Whitni Miller. Hi, Whitney.
Hi, Jen.
I don't know why I'm giggling because it's going to be such a good conversation. All right, so before we introduce Whitney, Noelle is going to give her disclaimer.
Sorry, folks. The information presented on the podcast is educational in nature and is provided only as general information and is not medical or psychological advice, nor is it a substitute for seeking licensed healthcare services. And we're only saying that because I'm a licensed therapist. Period.
Thanks, Noelle.
My
All
pleasure.
right, here we go. Whitney, you ready?
I'm ready.
Whitni Miller is a passionate queer couples intimacy coach and sex educator dedicated to helping busy couples prioritize pleasure in a world that often relegates it to a mere bonus. So true.
Hmm.
With a vibrant following of over, get this, a following of over 500,000 across TikTok and Instagram, Whitney shares her insights and expertise to empower individuals and couples to deepen their intimate connections. With training from the Sexual Health Alliance and endorsements from notable figures such as Dr. Lori Brotto,
Yes,
you're going to have to tell me who that is. I'm so sorry.
I
Whitney
will.
brings a wealth of knowledge to her practice. She's skilled in conscious kink and certified in TAG or
TAG
Mhm.
stands for trauma and integration.
Yep, method. It's a trauma integration method akin to brain spotting, allowing her to support clients in navigating their intimacy journeys safely and effectively. By fostering open dialogues about pleasure and communication, Whitney inspires her audiences to embrace their desires and cultivate fulfilling relationships. Okay, so there's about 1,800 questions in there. So, audience,
Yeah,
just get prepared. We're going to go.
yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank
I'm
you for
so happy
joining
to be
us.
here.
You have no idea what you're in for.
I'm excited.
You'll be
Okay,
fine.
so I just want it for our listeners, and I think
Mhm.
it's good to understand from your perspective, what is your definition of queer?
Queer is, here it is. Queer is a choice. Sexual orientation is not a choice. Being a lesbian, being bi, being pan, asexual, all of that's something you observe in yourself and you go, oh, I see this is what I am. So it's who you are. You're born that way, your authenticity. But queer, that's a choice to step away from conformity. So queer means to divert from the norm and step away from the social constructs that have been sold to you as that's how you should do things.
Mhm.
That's how you should dress. That's how you should have sex. And we just turn in the face of that.
I love it.
Wow.
So cool.
I've never heard of it described that way. I love the
Mhm.
distinction. I'm a therapist and I have
Mhm.
been trauma informed and diversity informed for 20
Mhm.
years. I feel like I'm a pretty sensitized person to a lot of things, but I love that distinction because
Yes,
giving it the choice part, because you could be gay and be married to somebody and pass yourself as that and not live your authenticity your whole life. So I love that
absolutely.
you're bringing that up.
Hmm.
Thank
It's
you.
it's
I have a
intentional.
Totally get that. I have a question. So
Yes,
your handle is BDE Moves on
correct.
Instagram, and that's your website. So can you define that and describe it to us and what it means to you?
Okay,
Very
hold on.
happy
I'm
to.
gonna
Oh,
I'm gonna
Hmm.
interrupt because there's a great video that I did watch on your website that completely goes into the long story of how what BDE is, which is so fun. So I definitely encourage people to
I
go
do.
there. I got lost in it for 18 hours. Okay, not really, but there's so much information on there. I watched your whole video. I was like, oh my God. Okay. So short version because they can go in and check that out on
Okay,
the
sorry.
video.
And I
On
didn't look
It's
at
okay.
that.
All
I've been
good.
fixated
Absolutely.
on your Instagram posts.
I know. You're fine.
I
Okay, go.
got you. So it stands for big dick energy. So yeah, when you have big dick energy, you carry your confidence. Not, let's put it this way, cocky is loud and confidence is quiet. And then when you know yourself, you move in a way that makes people comfortable when they're around you. So that to me is big dick energy. It doesn't matter what's between your legs, it's how you carry yourself.
So I'm gonna push you on that a little bit.
Push me.
Could we call it big vagina energy?
You
Is it the
could.
same thing?
If you wanted to, you say big dyke energy. You're like,
Oh, because of the D. You would have to
because
change your company name. That would
because
be
of the D.
weird.
Yeah,
BVE would be weird to change
absolutely.
it off the bat. But yeah, okay.
Yes. The only
Big
reason
dyke
I
energy.
carry it is because that was the compliment that was given
Yeah.
to me. So I was like, it's a gift. I'm going to use it.
Yeah. I actually, when I was listening to you talk about it, I'm like, huh, wonder I feel about that.
Yeah.
Because I think it's,
Oh, it pokes at people.
it does. It totally does,
Yes.
which is what you do.
It is. It's provocative. So I
Yeah.
want to provoke you and I want to make you think, like, why does it bother you?
Hmm.
Lots of people have dicks, not just men. Trans
Yeah.
women have dicks.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I know why. And why do we always associate it to the male gender?
exactly. What's that about?
Bomb.
That is another case.
I don't know. You guys go figure that out. If you got some ideas, send us emails.
You're
All
right
right.
on.
You gave us some incredible questions, but I want to talk first. Okay. After I read your bio, Conscious Kink was
Mhm.
literally the first thing that I went after going to your website. I Googled Conscious Kink because I am so just
Yeah,
naive and undereducated about this stuff. I
yeah.
went and looked at it, and actually, there was an article from like 2016 that I went through. And
Beautiful.
in your
Yeah.
definition, what's conscious kink?
Conscious kink is when you bring awareness to practicing kink with someone because you can get kinky, but if you're not being consent forward, like you're putting consent as the foundation of what you're doing, then you're not accumulating attunement, which is the whole point of getting into a kink practice is to be doing a trust exercise with another person. So you're increasing the connection and that increases the intensity of the arousal that you can feel. And a lot of people on the outside, we'll call them vanilla is not a derogatory term. It just says you don't practice kink. That's all. It's neutral. So just want to say that. Um, they think of kink as one person is putting something on another person and that person is just enduring it. And that's not kink at all. So as the community has seen that we need to specify and say conscious kink because in all communities there are assholes. There's assholes in the kink community and they're not following proper BDSM protocol, which is consent, negotiations, safe words, aftercare, all the things that make it safe and increase connection.
Aftercare?
Yeah, baby.
I've never heard about aftercare.
So
I
I
have
mean,
because
You
I've been
have.
following Whitney. Do you want to talk about
aftercare.
aftercare?
I would love to. Aftercare is beautiful. So this is from my series, BDSM practices that can benefit vanilla couples. So if you're never going to practice kink at all, you can enhance your vanilla sex by pulling in BDSM protocol. So you sit down, you have a negotiation. Hey, babe, after we have sex, what would feel good to you? Would you like cuddles? You want to jump in the shower together? You want me to turn on a funny show? You want me to bring you some fruit snacks? Would you like me to just leave you alone? And seal the deal, baby. Let that person know who was just incredibly raw and vulnerable with you that mattered, that it meant something to you, even if it's casual. Text them a couple days later. I love doing that with you. Would you like to do it again? Aftercare. Give a shit, y'all.
My husband is going to be so excited because I'm like,
Yeah.
hi, we're going to talk about my aftercare. No, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about his too. He likes to cuddle. All right.
There you
But
go.
maybe he likes fruit snacks. I don't know. I need
Maybe
to ask.
it's a wonderful finisher.
Fantastic. Okay,
Oh,
on
yeah.
your website, which this I thought it was really cool you mentioned in your video, is the yes, no, and maybe list.
Yeah.
Because I think there are individuals. One of the reasons we started the podcast was yes, perimenopause, menopause, how our bodies change, what hurts, what doesn't, why sex hurts when it doesn't, etc.
Yeah.
Why we're not having sex as we get older, as we're married, older couples. I've been with my husband for 20 long years, 27.
Okay.
26, 27 years. We've been
Mm-hmm.
together for a long time. Vanilla sex with a little kink is where we're at. But I'm loving this concept of having a list. And you said you can go through it by yourself or with your couple or with your
Mm-hmm.
partner. Okay, the partner would be so much fun
Yes.
because there are things that I think my husband really would like, but he's too afraid to say it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's websites like Mojo Upgrade where you can fill them out separately and then you combine them and it'll only show you the things you match on. So if you got like a shy partner and they don't want to reveal like what they're into unless you match on it, you can go that route.
Okay.
I
And
just
you're good.
I want to point out, so I think one of the really, I don't know, the word magnificent is coming to mind. Things about
Yeah.
your Instagram posts and feed is that there's this list of things that you cover in everything that you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that you're trauma informed, which is fabulous. And you bring that when you bring about like consent and attunement, but you always focus on communication and the nuance of certain
Mm-hmm.
things and the
Absolutely.
subtleties of relationships and what you don't say. Or I just listened, I was catching up on a few I hadn't watched yet, and you were talking
Yeah.
about like omission of not saying what you don't feel like, or when you don't match your partner's libido, but you're trying to acquiesce because you want to make them happy and you can't do it for that reason. It's a little bit like mind blowing to me, just all the different aspects of sexuality, certainly not limited to queer couples, but for
Absolutely
people who
not.
have some kind of mismatch in any kind of way, libido or communication style.
Hmm.
It's just so impressive to me as in on so many levels.
Can I
Thank
ask a
you.
question?
Yeah.
Is it bad to put out just to make your partner happy?
I think that you are on the road to accumulate resentment, which will long term be hurtful to your connection.
Interesting. I'm going to pop in here because the
ahead.
reason I asked that, Whitney, because I think there are times, and now I have a very open relationship with my husband. We are
Hmm.
very communicative.
Yeah.
Yes, the yes, no, maybe list will be something that'll help us, but it's not, he
Hmm.
knows that I like certain digits in an anal location every now and then.
Love
Talk
the back
about that
door. Oh
stuff.
my gosh.
Back door for me is not for large things. Let's just say that.
That's okay.
I like a little index or a little pinky finger. That's it.
Yeah.
But wow, that makes that. Are you touching yours right now? It looks like you are.
Honey, it's a beautiful thing. I was just having
You're like,
flashbacks.
I love the back door.
Yeah. No, I was having flashbacks to my wife this morning and I had my tongue in there. That's her favorite. I love the way it activates the vagus nerve. It makes your body just go whoa, like nothing else will. And so she makes these sounds like a cat in heat. And it's the only way I'm going to get that low octave out of her. I just drops down a couple of notes and I'm like, yeah, you're there now, aren't you?
Okay.
Wow.
It's always the
I
back door.
love it. The back door makes my orgasms whoa,
Woof.
like out of this world. And it took me a while to be okay with that. But man, you
Mhm.
put too much stuff up there and it's
Be
not
careful. You gotta be
things,
careful.
but I'm saying like,
Yeah.
just little bits. Um,
Right.
there's no gerbils going up there for me. That that was a wasn't that
Oh,
Safe for
I
everybody.
remember it's back
Yeah.
in the it's
I'm
Richard
like,
Gere, right?
yeah, it was Richard
Yes.
Gere, like Pretty Woman. Oh God.
Yes, I
Okay.
got you.
Sorry, I'm like, no else. I have lost control of this interview. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I'm totally off. Yeah.
I do have a question though, to zip it back to what I was saying is I understand sometimes for my husband, it is important for us to have sexual contact, for him to release and put his penis inside my vagina because he needs it to actually emotionally connect with me. Now,
Mm,
it's not always, man, it very actually doesn't happen that much anymore, but I think it's okay to every now and then say, honey, I know you need this release. And
mhm,
usually by the end of it, I'm like, oh, that was good. Or at least it was okay. You know,
mhm.
I'm never like sitting there letting me pound me while my head's hitting. I'm not like, but there you
That's
go.
that's an important piece of context there because you're saying somewhere in the midst of it, you're like, oh, that's pretty good. And that's more attuned to responsive desire. So you're speaking to you have a willingness to step into something that you know that you'll enjoy before it's over.
Not always.
Not always.
Okay, when I guess the definition of enjoy is
Mm-hmm.
dependent upon a situation.
Okay.
Is it that I enjoy that he's going to feel better? Is it that I'm
Mm-hmm.
empathically connecting with him and saying, you need this? And in order for me to help you, I'm okay doing that. This is like once every 6 months. I'm not talking about every week I'm putting out just because he
Yes.
needs it. No. But I think it's
Mm-hmm.
important to talk about it. And I do think there are
Yes.
women who do consistently do that. And it
Mm-hmm.
completely supports what you said, Whitney, about
Yeah.
resentment, anger. You don't feel connected
Yes.
to your body anymore because you're having an outer body experience because your
Yes.
husband's going in. Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
duty sex.
Yeah.
Sex out of duty. It's not going to cultivate desire. And it starts to make you feel invisible because the person who's doing that to you, now they're not doing anything with you. So you're
Yes.
talking about
There
the
are two.
empathic connection that you have with your husband. That's not there for the people who are just fine. Just, yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
And that's what I worry about.
I have done that once or twice too.
I hear you. Yeah.
And as somebody who has a lot of compartmentalization when it comes to sex, I
Yes.
tried doing that and being like a good sport about it for, I think, a long time. And the consequences of that later, my husband is extremely intuitive and empathic,
Okay.
and he needs my attention to be with him when we are
Mm,
connected, even if I'm rubbing his feet. If we're like
okay.
watching TV, he's okay with it. But if I offer a massage and my head is somewhere else, like he feels it pretty immediately. And he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
really want to be touched when I'm absent.
I see.
He's
Okay.
so tuned into that. And so
Yes.
that kind of acquiescing, I probably should, and not
Mm,
communicating better made me untrustworthy, made him feel unsafe,
okay.
and also made me more separated from myself, which is part of
Yes.
why we're on this like break, is for me to find ways to connect back. And that
Yes.
predates him, but to connect back to what actually feels good. That's part of what gives me even more appreciation for how you, in this very
Hmm.
sensitive, tactful way, look at everybody getting their needs met, everybody like lifting each other up in
Yes.
this loving way. And
It's a team
I
effort.
just can't say enough about it. Sorry, go ahead.
I love it.
I,
No,
I think Noelle has a fan crush a little bit.
I love it.
I think it's
So
okay. I
it's
actually think
totally
it's
okay.
really
I
okay. I
will
have a crush and I just met you. Let's
have
go.
his.
That
Fangirl, yeah.
BDE is something.
I
All
know.
right, let me
Man.
get to a couple of your
Well,
questions.
it's
Go ahead.
BDE with sensitivity is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
BDE can be great, but with
Mm-hmm.
sensitivity, I just think that's everything. Kind of masterful is the word that's coming to me.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
yeah.
Enough of the lapping on of the compliments. All right. The busy couples. We all have become, at
Mm-hmm.
least I have. I've got a 8-year-old with disabilities. We are on the move all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult for us to slow down. And that low moaning that you're talking about, that kind of would wake her up, or even like the hollering that sometimes I do. I have to be real careful where she is when we're having that intimacy.
Yes.
So, what are some practical tips that you can give us for that couple that's busy and they're struggling with intimacy and they're struggling with sex in their lives? Just maybe 3 or 4 just practical little tips.
3 or 4 tips for the busy couples. The number one thing that I tell busy couples is that you need to schedule your connection time. They always take that as, I'm scheduling my sex. Where's my spontaneity? I said, I didn't say that. I didn't say to put sex on your calendar. I said to put connection time on your calendar. So it's like you talking about your husband needing that physical contact in order to feel emotionally connected. The other side of that is he's one common dynamic in a relationship. The other common dynamic is for the other person to need emotional connection before they can physically connect. So if you have blocked off time on your schedule to have that emotional connection first, then everybody's getting their needs met. You're asking the person who needs physical contact to slow down a little bit, maybe feel a little yearning, a little desire, and like displaying that self-control for you. That's hot. That's sexy. You got to block that time off because we put our worth in our productivity and we think we need to be doing all the time. We need to be productive. So when we're having sex, we think we're fucking off. We're like, oh, I'm not being productive. I'm having sex. I'm not being productive. I'm laying on the couch with my husband and we're just grab assing and having eye contact and breathing together. And shouldn't we be doing laundry? Shouldn't we be, all this stuff? But it's
Clean
like,
houses are overrated. Let's
it's
just say that.
overrated. What I love to share with my clients is that pleasure is the fuel for your productivity. Like, where's your sense of worth if you're not protecting your joy? Now you're just putting in a validation from outside. And it should be coming from the inside. You're coming for what lights you up, what gives your life purpose, not somebody else coming over and patting you on the back telling you you did a good job.
Hmm.
It doesn't stay. As soon as the pat is done, your validation is over, you're chasing the next one. Well,
Say that again. What was that little phrase you used? That was really good, and I wanted to say it again, just in case someone didn't hear it.
pleasure is the fuel for your productivity.
Thank you. I'm gonna write that shit down.
Absolutely. That's why we're all burning out. And the thing about burnout is it takes 3 to 5 years to recover from that shit. You already don't have time, honey. You better
Where is?
schedule that pleasure.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so
All
my
right.
wife and I will take a day and we'll schedule it. We spend the whole week cleaning the house and getting ready so that we can have a whole day where we just lay in bed in our underwear and order DoorDash. Like, we need that to keep going. You just stay
Do you
there.
have children?
Yes, I have an 11-year-old son.
Okay. And where is your 11-year-old when you guys are doing that?
He is with family.
Okay. So
Yes.
he wouldn't be in the
No,
house and you guys would just be like, "Hey." Okay.
no. I have the privilege of community. I will put that out there.
Yeah.
Like,
It
I
is a
tell you,
privilege.
community is power and you need to get out there and intentionally develop it. I started when I was pregnant on there with the Facebook mom groups. I'm gonna find my
Hmm.
people.
Hmm.
So, yeah, you gotta get that community.
That and being okay asking. And this is a common theme for all of what we're talking about. Being okay asking for
Yes,
intimacy, being okay asking for alone time, being okay asking for assistance with chores because you want to schedule that intimacy time or the
that's right.
sexual time or the game playing time or the kink time, whatever you need. But also asking our community to help us. And I
That's right.
would be the one that would approach one of my friends and be like, "Hi, I need about 8 hours to have a lot of sex and intimacy with my husband. Would you mind taking teal?" And they'd be like, "Hot damn, when can we swap? Like, when can you take my kid?"
Yes. I've done it. I've swapped with friends so they can get their groove on. It's a
Yes.
community effort. Do it. Do it. And if you're the friend that starts it, guess what? You gave permission to all your friends to dive into that too. So be the
I'm
pleasure
so,
train.
I'm so gonna
Like,
be the pleasure
absolutely.
train.
Yes, protecting your joy
Noel.
will demand you work on your self-worth. So be ready for that. Like you're not going to be able to open up for big, beautiful orgasms or ask for the pleasure that you want without meeting with that work of self-worth. That's it's a big piece of it. So expect it. But the other thing for busy couples is to have non-sexual touch. You have to have touch without obligation. There needs to be touch that offers soothing, touch that offers grounding, touch that's just, I'm here for you. And that's it. And you can just receive this and you don't have to do anything else. Because every time you touch, it is a request. Your partner will start to avoid the touch. And now you've lost the bridge to get to sexual.
How often do I have to say, or how often did I have to say? And Noelle, I would love you to jump in here because I've been completely manhandling this or whatever.
Come on
The
with it.
the concept of the only time you rub my back is when you want me to have sex with you later. The only time we've had to really talk about that and
Yes.
really get into the fact that it makes me not want the massage because I
No.
know there's strings attached. So, yeah.
Yes. It's not relaxing. It's not grounding. It's not soothing. It's transactional.
Yes.
Oh, you need me to pay you in sex for this back rub? Like you don't enjoy rubbing me? My wife and I, when we rotate massage, we don't even swap massage on the same day so the person can actually enjoy it. I'll massage you this Sunday, you get me next Sunday. That way you can actually just enjoy your massage. And that
I'm
gives,
taking so many notes.
well, in a relationship, you have to respect autonomy to the point that you remind the person that they own themselves. Like you own you. And when you bring yourself to me, I recognize that as a gift. Like when you surrender to me, you are giving me something that you own completely. And I treasure it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
And even on your video, how you talked about scheduling it, you're like, don't write sex, write
no.
massage or whatever it is that you
Hmm.
would look forward to and would help you relax into it.
Yes. And remind your partner that you don't owe them sex for that. Remind, I don't expect sex to happen. I just want to connect with you in this time. If you'll just say that, it just opens up so much freedom because you can't force desire. You have to make space for it. Desire is something, it's creative energy. You can't push that into the world. It's something that you just clear space for it and you wait.
Mhm.
It's like going for a walk to stir up your creative energy. You make space.
Can I comment, Noelle?
Please, please.
Please, I can see her bubbling over there, please.
I actually can't remember what I was going to say because I got so.
I love
That
it.
means I'm a good listener.
It's such a good listen.
Yes.
It doesn't actually come across that I'm a good listener, but actually, because I was not saying over and over in my head what I wanted to say,
Hmm.
Mm.
I was actually. Oh, got it.
Let's go.
Okay. So here's the thing you give the massage, it leads to sex.
Okay.
How do you, so when, like, if it were to create the desire and create the, I want to then have that intimate sexual connection with you. What do you do then? Because, hold on, that time it did lead to intimacy. Or
Hmm.
do you simply say, hold on, I know we've got this huge desire going on, but I want to really respect the fact that massage was just a massage. Wait 20 minutes and then I'll come back and I don't know. What do you do?
So you're saying we had a massage and then we had sex afterwards. So now the expectation is the massage that always has to lead to sex?
Is it? That's what I'm saying is I think there's
Hmm.
a nuance there of communication because if you set a boundary, I'm just giving you a massage because I really want to, but then
Hmm.
both of you get really excited.
Yes. Then that's consent. It's moving all the time. It's constant. It's reversible. It's you never stop owning yourself the entire time of the interaction. It's yeah, we blocked off this time to massage each other and see what happens. and nobody is obligating the other person to have sex in this space. But if
Okay.
we do have sex, cool. But don't expect it to become that every time we come to have this massage. You have to
And
have these
yeah,
direct conversations.
yes.
If you have assumptions in your relationship, you are committed to your imagination more than your partner's truth.
That
Oh,
again.
Yeah, so if you assume something, that's you making up a narrative in your head to protect yourself from discomfort. That's your imagination. That's not your partner's truth. You didn't ask. You didn't talk about it. You have direct conversation. You're just avoiding discomfort.
by assuming that you know something that you're not quite sure about.
Yeah.
Totally get
You,
that.
No, I do
yeah.
too. I'm just like,
Or maybe you're
Yeah.
going off of something that happened in the past in the relationship, and that's not making room for your partner's growth. So if you put old shit on them, then you stagnate them.
Yeah. I've heard
so true.
somewhere you freeze them. Actually, I heard that term in mediumship that
Okay.
if you relate to somebody who's crossed over in
Mm-hmm.
a way that they are exactly how they were when they were here, you have frozen them and
Mm-hmm.
people grow and change.
They do. We're
So,
organic beings.
yeah. And I
Well,
can totally see that in a relationship where each time it might be a little bit different because
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what the other person really has on their mind or on their plate for that day. And I love what you
Mm-hmm.
were saying earlier about part of scheduling is that you're not feeling like you should be doing something else during that time. We used to try to be spontaneous a long time ago, but there
Okay.
was always that, oh crap, I'm doing laundry. There's something else
Uh-huh.
going on. So there really is a genius to setting that time aside. But I have a question for you.
Yes.
As part of a talkative processing couple, a little too much,
Mm.
how do you draw that line and where is the line between like direct communication to just open things up versus like now we're processing, it's killing the mood. Where's
Killing
that
whose mood?
line?
Killing whose mood? How does
Mine.
processing
oh,
kills
killing
whose mood?
whose mood, Noelle?
Yeah.
Killing whose mood?
Yeah.
Mine. I feel like if we're talking thing, I have the fantasy in my head that there should be like a particular flow.
Mm.
Doesn't work that way really at all with us. And once we
No.
start talking, I'm like,
Okay.
all right, well, I
So,
guess we're doing that now.
so you have a script about how it should go.
Thank you. Yes, I do.
Yes. And how's that working for you?
Terribly.
Okay.
Really,
So,
terribly.
yeah, so I would say chuck the script and let it be messy because sex
Or,
is messy.
or
Wrap my brain
could
around that.
you own the script, Noelle, and
Mhm.
actually say, I got to tell you, I got this dialogue in my head and this script in my head. That's how it's supposed to go. Can we just do that once too? Let's do a little role play. Could you, yeah, you don't have to just
Mhm.
chuck it. I agree if it's getting totally in the way, but maybe there's a way for you
Mhm.
to open up the concept of
Mhm.
this. I want you to slam me against the kitchen counters and get in there. I want that. Like that's, can you tell that's something that I like? But there,
Yeah. Mhm.
Alex.
Taking notes for
Uh,
Alex.
Yeah.
but I think there's also something, Noel, about what you don't have to not own that because if that's a fantasy that you have in your head, then maybe there's an opportunity at some point to play it out as well.
There is. I would
Totally.
talk about the fantasy outside of the bedroom, though.
Yes,
If you
for
talk
sure.
about it in the place where you want to do it, it makes the stakes higher.
What
And
do
you
you mean?
forget things and then you get mad and then you get angry. And this should be like at a lunch
Mhm.
conversation with a glass of champagne.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about like the processing boundaries. So you can put that in there. You can be like, hey, when we're in the bedroom and we're in this space, this is not the space for that. And so you just say what context you want that conversation to happen in. So that's just laying out your boundaries and your preferences, which feels really good when it's respected.
Mm.
But if you want to communicate your fantasy, sometimes it lowers the stakes if you take the communication about the fantasy outside of the place where you want to act it out. If it's in your bedroom, talk about it in the kitchen.
Mm.
But if you want to get thrown on your kitchen counter and
That's
bang,
exactly
maybe talk about it
in the
in the
bedroom.
bedroom. Yeah. Yeah, it's like,
Our counters are a little high. I don't know that I'm shooting for that. But
hey.
my husband, when we were first married, he would ask me, okay, how would you want me to approach you? And so
Yes.
I would make a suggestion of something in my imagination that I thought would work. And
Yes.
I don't believe it ever worked because
Okay.
how I said it or what I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking must not have come across. And he's a
Okay.
very different person than I am. And I'd be like,
Mm.
WTF, man, that is not at all what I said.
Oh, and you said he's very sensitive to you, correct?
Mhm.
Do you ever tell him how you want to feel when you have sex? Instead of telling him specifically what to do, tell
Mm.
him how you want him to make you feel.
I'm sure I've never done that.
Okay, this is a little different because how
It is,
sensitive he
yeah.
is to read you. That would be a better thing for him to hang on to because he can read your face and your body language. He would know if he was taking you to the feeling that you're describing, you're craving.
Oh my God, that's my hugest takeaway ever.
Freaking genius. Yeah. And he would connect with that more than, so thank you, because that really is very different. And I do think that he would connect with that, and it would help me let go of the fantasy or idea that how I think it should actually look, because I
Sure.
don't know how, but I do trust him. That would give him something probably a
Yes.
little bit more realistic to
If
operate
you've got
from.
if you got trust, you got great
Yes.
tether right there. Absolutely.
And then if you were going to do it that way, Noelle, you would have to chuck the script.
Totally. But I
You-
could, because I'm
Yeah.
at least expressing the thing I actually want, which is
Yes.
what was
Yes.
probably underneath all the other crap I said that didn't actually work.
Yes.
Sometimes it can be that way. Yeah.
All
It's
right.
like my wife, when she calls them conquer me feelings, when she wants me to just grab her and take her. So that's what she describes. I want to feel overpowered. I'm
Love
like,
that.
oh, got you. I know how to fulfill that.
But okay, so we haven't done this for a while, but I remember when I liked the first time that he put his hand on my neck and like restricted my airflow a little bit.
Yeah.
And I am a very, as you can probably tell, pretty high strung person, and I like to be in control. And so that concept of being okay saying, I don't want you to tie anything around my neck. I don't want, it needs to be just a little light pressure.
Yeah.
That completely turned me on. And that's that concept of taking control, of having someone else take control. The same
Absolutely.
is true is he likes it when I take control and I don't do it very often. So it's just a good I'm like just talking myself into better sex right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And putting somebody in that energy, sometimes it can be as simple as you having your clothes on and them not. And it's, oh, now I'm more in control than you. I have more clothing on than you. Changes the context.
See,
Yeah.
Whitney is like the subtlety nuance queen.
Really. I'm sitting there going, Alex is always naked. No,